Hey guys, happy Thursday and welcome back to the Ghost Biker Garage. I am your host, the Ghost Biker, and we're back in the almost empty studio working on getting some things packed up, getting ready for a big move, hoping to get up to Scott County, closer to the jail, moved into a farmhouse that I've been remodeling and do all that here. Hopefully the goal was the end of January, but here we are almost at the very end and still working on things. So just want to make sure. Chris says, okay, she says there was no sound, but thank you for letting me know. Just want to say good evening to several of the folks over here in the chat room. We've got Dr. Sumner here, Nancy Weems, Joe Shortridge. Thank you, Joe. I know you just released some of the information or a follow-up podcast on where I was on your show, 222 Paranormal, a few weeks ago. Guys, if you haven't checked that out, go on and check out that show. Check out Joe's podcast just in general. I mean, he covers some great topics with some great people on there, and we are very excited and honored to be a part of that show. The episode just released. We talked about season 5. Really good time. And also hello to Susan Purcell. So thank you guys again. A lot of things going on there at the historic Scott County Jail. We're, again, coming up at the end of the month here. We've been doing a lot of flashlight tours, got some flashlight tours scheduled for this weekend. Also got some spots open for our escape room on Thursday night through Monday night. Or actually, we have a booking for Monday night. So Thursday night through Sunday night, we've got some escape room spots open. You can find all of this information on www.historicscottcojail.com. Come out, investigate with us on a guided ghost hunt. We got one booked for Monday night. It is a private investigation, and it's a lady who is celebrating her 60th birthday with some of her friends. So we're excited that she's planning to travel up from North Georgia to the jail, spend that time investigating with myself and Dr. Sumner. And we suggest if you guys looking for something fun and interesting to do as a girls' trip, a birthday party, come book either a private investigation or a guided ghost hunt at the jail. We get a lot of birthday parties up there. It's always a great time. So we've got all of that information there on the website. A couple other things right quick before we get to tonight's guest. Let me get this screen shared here. We did announce today that we actually announced it last week, but kind of following up on it, going to be speaking at the Haunting at the Mill Paracon at the Haygood Mill and Historic Site in Pickens, South Carolina. Super excited to be up against with these amazing speakers here at this location. It's going to be a full weekend. This is the first Paracon at this location. It's also the first time that this location has been investigated. So with your tickets, I know they've got several different packages, and with those tickets and everything, you can actually get primitive camping there. You can be part of the 2-part investigation. I think it's 2 different nights. And you can also be a part of several different VIP events, as well as come listen to the speakers and see some of these great vendors and stuff at this event. So all of the proceeds go to the homeless vets as well as the Haygood Mill Foundation there. So, definitely something I know a lot of folks have been sending messages that they're going to be attending this event. So we're very, very excited to be a part of it. Also, had a meeting or a phone conversation this week. We're going to be having another meeting next week trying to set up another Ghost Biker Explorations haunted ride and haunted motorcycle ride and investigation. That's going to be, right now, the tentative date is October 14th. It's going to be a full weekend, and it's going to be in London, Kentucky. So if you participated in that last year, good news. We've got more information about that coming. All the funds to that go to the Shop with a Cop program in London, Laurel, Kentucky. And we hope to have more information about that. We got a meeting next Wednesday to try to finalize those dates, try to get the location set, and also get the VIP event set on that. So, and then don't forget about Enigma Cons. That's going to be taking place in St. Albans or St. Albans Sanitarium there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, a great list of speakers. That's going to be April 22nd. So if you're looking for some really cool events to do, we've got a lot of those coming up. The Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, the Deep South Paracon, a lot of different things throughout the year, pretty much almost an event a month. So definitely check that out, as well as some different haunted motorcycle rides that Christy and I are going to be announcing hopefully very soon. Some of those may be partnerships with Harley Davidson. Excuse me. Some of them may also be events that we're having at the jail as well. So also a couple really cool announcements that we've got coming up. We're just finalizing a couple meetings when it comes to the historic Scott County Jail. So stay tuned and be on the lookout for all of that. So I'm going to bring on tonight's guest here in just a second. I know last week we had mentioned that Chuck Sutherland was going to be our guest. Unfortunately, he was not able to make it, but these guys, they're fantastic. They stepped in and they're going to join the show. If you watched last week, we had comedian and magician Danny Whitson on. He told an amazing story about his experiences with the paranormal in the past. He also did some pretty cool magic tricks for us and promoted some of the different events and stuff that he's got coming up. We had so much fun with that I wanted to reach out to his friends, Big and Funky Productions, Big Luke and Vinny. We wanted to, our Funk Master V wanted to definitely reach out to them. They stepped in and are coming on the show tonight. These guys, if you've not heard of them, which I'm sure a lot of you have, but if you've not, they are filmmakers, they're pro wrestlers, they're comedians, they're paranormal investigators. These guys have a really unique approach to the paranormal and some really great stories behind it. So I'm going to go ahead, bring them on, and get started with tonight's interview. Hey, guys.
Hey,
Luke, I'm sorry, man. I got to go. I can't do tonight's podcast.
You do every time you back out on me on podcast.
I love you. I'm so sorry. It's the IBS. Anyway,
so guys, like I said, thank you so much for stepping in and coming on to tonight's show.
Hey, thanks for having us. I've been a fan of your show and follow you as much as I can. It's cool to finally kind of face to face you here. You know, it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you and I kind of reached out and kind of chatted a little bit after the first season.
Yes.
And we've got a lot of different mutual friends, and so yeah, I'm excited to have you guys finally on the live stream here.
Well, and Vinny, a Funk Master V. It's weird. I used to only call him Funk Master V, everything. And then we stopped when we were pro wrestlers. I mean, he was Funk Master V, and then like now it's just like I keep calling him Vinny. And I have to remind myself to call him Funk. Now you got to watch out for Funk because he swears a lot. He doesn't know how to control himself. He's like he's like you leave the animal out of the cage, and see he's up there just letting it loose. You have to mute him.
Well, thank you. I just want to say, I want to thank the Lord for letting us do a podcast tonight.
You will notice, Miranda, that
is that better? Is that what you want me to talk?
That's way better, dude.
Is that what you want me to talk like?
Hey, I just need you to calm down, okay? Your IBS is kicking up, and you'll have to leave a little earlier again.
This is my medicine.
Now, for people that do know us, they know what to kind of expect from me and.
Oh, here we go.
But for people that don't, people that don't, we are positive energy, but we are also experienced opinion people. Like we don't talk off the cuff, but we do have strong opinions, but it's from things that we've experienced, people, places, everything.
God, no, take two, do it again. I hate it. If you hear what you just said, I don't like it. I don't like what we are. We're in your face. We'll slap your freaking head. We'll grab your head, be like, you want to make out? You want to make out? Dude, I don't care if you're a dude. I'll make out with you, man. And then if we'll see how you react. And then that's how we'll react. And I'm like, I'm not gay. You're gay. That's how we are, man. That's how we got to sell ourselves, Luke. Not this whole, we're professional people and we like to. Screw that, man.
So is that how you guys met? Yeah, through wrestling, or
I'll quickly tell you the story of how me and Funk Master V met. I just stopped being a police officer, and before I was a police officer, I was a professional wrestler. I've already mentioned it once, Vince. Every time I mention I was a police officer, you have to drink. That's lifelong rule. And I decided to get back into wrestling, and I get called to this show in Wartburg, Tennessee, and I'm standing in. I come out, and I'm like with another dude, like Vinny's life is usually, and uh, so I'm in the ring, and I'm like, this sucks. There's 30 people here. The guy that I'm the enforcer for, I think you could probably smack and he would die. And then all of a sudden I hear it, just over the speakers, over the terrible speakers with way too much treble. I hear funk music, and I see this beautiful lady walk out, and I was like, oh, he's wrestling a lady. And that was Rachel Ewing, rest her soul. And then all of a sudden behind, I see a man wearing the same exact coat he's wearing right now, with a Harlem Globetrotters uniform on under it, and a 3-foot tall afro wig with Christmas lights in it. And I said, that's my best friend. And we've been inseparable ever since.
Well, to be honest, the first couple times I saw him, he kept smiling at me like
seductively.
Yeah, and I thought he was simple. And then after a while, I found out he's really one of the coolest dudes that I've ever met in my life. And man, we've only known each other for like 8 years, and we were texting today because today's a big day. This is why Luke is drunk. This is why I don't have any pants on. One of our movies finally.
This is why you don't have pants on.
This is why you don't have pants. This is what you take. Why did you send me those pictures earlier before this?
Those were your view from the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. But anyway, we have a brand new movie that dropped today, and I was like, we've done paranormal investigations. We've been all over the East Coast doing paranormal investigations, talking at conventions. We have a television show, for crying out loud, doing this. But we've wrestled all over the East Coast. We make movies that are now being seen all over the world. And, we've only made out 2 or 3 times, and we've kept it pretty straight the whole time. It's just been a crazy life to meet somebody when, I'm 68 and he's 63. You meet somebody at this time of your life that is such a good friend, and we've accomplished so many weird things together.
But the big news for today is, a couple days ago we had great news. Our first movie, The Hike, was available on Tubi, and the people
or not to be.
But the cool thing about Tubi is that's kind of our audience. That's kind of the B movie. There's a lot of great independent horror comedy on Tubi, so that's kind of our audience. We've got great response for it. But then somewhere in the middle of the day, I searched WJHCAM, which is our second movie, and it was streaming on Plex, which is another free service. And that WJHCAM is almost, we wanted to make a real horror movie with The Hike. We wanted to make a real scary horror movie. And then the camera started rolling, and it didn't work out that way. It turned into a full-on comedy. But there's, horror elements. But WJHCAM was actually a comedy that we're like, we got to put some horror stuff into this. So, but it's a superior movie. It's
rated a 9.7 on IMDb.
Yeah.
If you go there now to put a 1-star review, just to be a jerk, I will haunt you when I die. But it's a great story. It's a fable about Y2K. Danny Whitson, if you saw last week, he plays a preacher in it. Like he's addicted to video games, but he's like a faith healer preacher on the radio. It's about a Southern gospel radio station during the apocalypse. That's right. There you go.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you. But anyway, it's a movie about Y2K. If you're old enough to remember Y2K. Everybody thought it was going to be the end of the world, especially people in that Southern gospel element. Some of them did. And it's a fable about what happens if they were right and Jesus actually did come back, and all the a-holes that weren't good enough to go up, they had to stay and fight off There's a lot of nude watching this here. There's a lot of me nude in this. This was Luke's device here. There was me. I've been nude. I've been almost nude twice. That girl was kind of nude. That's good.
All right, enough with the nudity.
What? You're a prude tonight. Well, after all those pictures you've been sending my mother.
Well, Dixie's a very, very lonely woman, and she needs some.
I appreciate it. And did the check clear?
Yes.
Okay, keep sending them.
Thank you for the $6.
Well, you've got that. You remember that stuff in the 90s when you had like for a penny, you pay they get the Columbia all the albums sent
yes.
for a penny. They still call because you put me down as a reference. I'm sending you the money to pay them dudes off.
Well,
you never paid the full price album rate.
What are you going to do? You know what is there is Cash App now. You don't have to write paper checks. You're the last.
I need to burn through the checks.
All right, you just have to get
I've
rid
got
of
all
them.
these checks. I bought way too many. I had a guy who told me like there was going to be a check shortage and they were going to be worth more, and I just got to burn through them.
Well, we got our first question over here, and Chris says, "Have you both always had a belief in the paranormal?
Hi, Chris.
How do you transition from the wrestling to the paranormal?"
As weird as it is we got tasked with making there's this wrestling show on Fox 43 out of Knoxville, and it was terrible. And so me and Vinny got online and just started lighting it on fire. We're like, and then this guy said, "Hey, if you think you could do better, you come and do better." So we did. And we got him canceled in 6 months. It was probably the gay Mr. Rogers impersonation.
There was a lot. There was a lot.
I tried calling a match like Chewbacca. It was like,
it was.
But then
we can't even start with all that.
We got out of that, and I had been in a paranormal investigation team with a police officer since 2008, and I was like, we could probably do this, and we've got all the equipment, we got everything we need. Let's and. Funk was like, yeah, man, we'll just, there's no such thing as ghosts. Our first investigation, Funk had some past experiences as well, but he never put it in solidly into I believe. Mm-hmm. And our first investigation, we went to our buddy Mitch the Furry's house up in, where does he live in?
Bristol, Virginia.
Bristol,
Virginia.
We went to his barn, and he's got a barn and a Civil War graveyard on his property. And the first thing, like Vinny's, we're up there out in the graveyard and stuff starts happening, and Vinny just starts looking at me like, wait a minute.
Well, let's back up a hair. We were involved with making a show because somebody was like, I've got the inside Iggy on making a TV show. And since Luke blows through these stories and I make them go way too long, but we got fired from Fox, okay? And there was a lot of hostility after we got done with this wrestling show.
We got banned from wrestling for like a year.
Yeah, I mean, people were like
banned from wrestling.
They didn't want to book us, and it was like we were making fun of wrestling in some ways, but we were also trying to make a good TV show. But anyway, me and Luke laughed, and all the people outside of the sport who was watching it, and they had good ratings, thought it was great. Just all the wrestlers were upset with what we were doing. So we got banned for like a year, and Luke, not really banned, but we were never booked anywhere, and nobody would talk to us anymore. And so me and Luke were like, man, what are we going to do? And we met a little dweeb who was a paranormal pariah, which are quite a few of those and he was like, I've got a TV show that they're just looking for people, and you guys are great. He met Travis, which is another wrestler friend of ours who's named El Gordo Gringo, and Luke. So Flash and Luke was like, you got to meet this guy Funk. He's good for camera and stuff. He's real funny. And I actually, as crass as I am, and as how much, I go down to an abandoned bus station and I just get into all sorts of hijinks. I rifle through the trash cans looking for needles and stuff. Even though I do all that, I used to be a minister. And so there was a spiritual side before I backslid and found the world of, basically, anime hentai was my path to destruction. Right, Luke?
The squid thing was weird. I don't know why you ever got
the tentacle things just blew my mind. I've never been the same since. So anyway, but getting back to this paranormal thing, and I appreciate we'll answer this question here in 25 minutes. So, but So we go, and Luke and I both were like, nothing's going to happen at this ridiculous place. And this guy that we met, Mitch, was absolutely ridiculous. He was a furry without a fursuit. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a guy. It's a guy who he identifies as a furry, but he can't afford the suit.
He's got one now, though.
He's got one now, and that was a huge day. We were all like dancing and stuff, like we got a fursuit. And then I
shot my neighbor. Yeah, I was like, "Wait, Mitch has got a fursuit."
Yeah, well, you've been wanting to do that for a while, and now Mitch kind of every time you see him, he kind of dry humps your leg for about 5 minutes. You let that, you just pretend it's not happening, and then he goes off. That's what the furries do. So anyway, but thank God it's better with the suit on. It didn't feel good when he was just doing it without the suit. With the suit, it feels like a teddy bear.
Hey, he's been in both of our movies too.
Yes, and so we got to get a cameo for the third one. But anyway,
no way.
He can be in a picture frame. We'll talk about it later. So me and Luke were both like, "There's nothing going to happen at this place." Now, I did believe in spiritual stuff. I just didn't know what it would be like. And I know that our presence and the way that the vibrato and the fact that we were trying to make a television show, that offends a lot of people in the paranormal field. Me and Luke both recognize that most paranormal TV shows absolutely are dog squeeze. And we didn't want to be, we didn't want to do something that has been done before. We were wanting to do something that actually was real. Now, we have almost been famous 3,000 times. We've been at tables where they're about to put us on national television, and there's a lot of investigators have that same story. Mm-hmm. But they wanted us to fake evidence all the time. And we're like, we don't need to. There's something about the amalgamation of when me, Travis, and Luke are together, and now we got a new girl, Candy. Stuff happens, and it's crazy because we go about trying to procure the evidence in a weird way. So going back to Luke's story, Civil War. So we're up there and we're like, okay, so when we go up to Mitch's house, this is another reason we were just like, this is a bunch of bugaboo. The guy goes and he talks like, we call him high pitched Mitch. He's like, hey fellas. So there's an Indian called Big Chief and a horse and a lady in white and a lady in red and a lady in blue and a lady in black and a green orb. And there's 4 kids in the barn and there's hellhounds. And after a while, we're like, okay, everything that's ever happened in paranormal history happens in this property. Okay, I get it. So we were like, this guy's nuts. The guy we're with is nuts. So me and Luke are doing skits up in there's hellhounds in the graveyard. So we're sitting here playing fetch, and we're going, here, boy. So camera's rolling. Luke, what happens?
Well, Vinny's, we're decide, hey, let's first we decide like, hey, if hellhounds, let's treat them like they're, like chihuahuas. Hey, come here, boy. And then all of a sudden you hear, and we're like, we just kind of look at each other like, oh hell. So we get excited and we're like, this is going to be cool. We go down to the barn where the rest of the production's happening. We run down to the barn. And while we're all, 5 of us are standing in a circle just in one of the horse stalls where there's no horse, it's filled with hay. We actually hear a kid go, "Hey!"
Now let me interject this. So we listen, we hear the growls, and Luke was going like, "Ruff, ruff, ruff." No, this stuff sounded like, it sounded like
real guttural kind of
guttural. So we go down, and he's right. That did eventually happen. But the first thing that happens is we walk through the barn, and the jabron we were with had one of those little computers set up that we're not sold on. Me and Luke don't use any technology, by the way.
We do just to see if it'll work, but we don't put any reliance on any technology.
We're high touch, not high tech. We don't have like, hey, this thing's spinning around, looks like a disco ball. I don't know. We don't know what any of that stuff is. We have a flashlight and
it went from point 2 to point 4. There's definitely
there's point 4. So anyway, we go in, and this guy's got this laptop. Now the laptop is doing a program that's supposedly spitting out what the ghosts are trying to say, right? But most of the time it sounds like Chef, and people are like, it said that George Washington was here once, and I'm like, what the? No, it did. What? And it's like, ah. So there's like a female voice. But as soon as I walk in and I'm like with Luke and I'm like, hey, you won't believe this. There's a freaking thing growling in the. As soon as I want to walk in there, the laptop goes, oh, we know Greta. Greta is my daughter's name.
Oh.
As soon as I walk in there, it went from going, fresh off for Jeffa to, oh, we know Greta. And so I'm like, okay, mother F's, what are we talking about? You bringing my family into this? You bring my family? And they're like, oh, you're the, and it swear to God, Luke can attest, it called me Funk Master. Like that thing, that's not programmed into a computer
right.
to spit out. It called me Funk Master. It said, we know that you're you're the preacher, you're the man of God, you're the backslidden preacher. It said all this kind of stuff. And I was like, okay. And so Luke and I had a moment where we were like, this is fun, but it also is insane, the amount of crazy stuff we caught that night.
Was also where that's where we developed our system for paranormal investigation is positive energy. I call it the charge. Is when we were goofing around, stuff would happen. When we were doing the TV sitting, is that a demon? Nothing would happen. But when we were being positive, and then we kind of theorized that, and we practiced a lot of this up kind of, and that's in the La Follette.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of great places. In
very haunted area.
Yeah, very.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad somebody else thinks that.
Oh yeah.
But what we did is we started practicing it there, where we were just like, and the theory is basically, if you were sitting in a room and there's anybody in the other room and you want them to come into that room, are you going to be like, get in here, I'm gonna, fight me, bro? Or if you're having a good time.
How did you die?
Yeah. Or if you're being morose, or if there's a party going on.
Right.
Well, they want to come in and enjoy. It doesn't work all the time, and you don't always get, because another of our theories is, like everybody dies. Not everybody's evil.
Right.
That's exactly right. That is, and so we've done investigations for the show where we go to amusement parks and there's voices. So it's like, okay, everybody's focused on, and this is what the networks wanted too. They want everything dark.
Yeah.
They didn't want the funny stuff. They're like, why is the white guy wearing a mink coat and he's talking like a black man? We don't understand this, why are they being funny? People that watch this stuff don't like funny. So we got a lot of notes and we were like, whatever, we're going to do, me and Luke do whatever we want to do anyway, and good, bad, or evil. But so yeah, we have we went to a bridge once near Luke's house, covered bridge. Kid, there was a rumor that a kid jumped off and broke his neck.
In the 90s.
In the 90s. And so me and Luke, when we get together and we get a couple, wine coolers and stuff, and, everybody, we got a couple girls that are grabbing at her pants and stuff. We get in a good mood.
Oh, that Boone's Farm strawberry. They can't resist.
So we get out on the bridge and, and I don't know what we're saying. I can't remember right now, but we were just talking and I said, Luke had this dumbass. He always puts pictures of me with my naked butt everywhere. I'm gonna call him out on one thing. For one time, until I roasted him too hard, he had one of those little miner hat things like this. He had he looked like a little woo! I'm going to build a highway in the night. I was playing a lot of
Minecraft at that time.
It was a terrible look for him because he's got beautiful hair. He didn't need the thing kind of contracting everything up there. So I said, take that flashlight gimmick off your head. What's wrong with you? And he's like, oh, it keeps my hands free for the camera or whatever he said. I said, you look like a butt nut. Well, as soon as I said that, we heard this laugh. And we had an atheist, actually, guy who did not believe in God and believe in spirits or nothing like that. And he said, okay, that's weird. I heard that. And we all heard that. So Luke and I start doing a Jerky Boys routine. Now, Jerky Boys is the prank phone callers from the 90s.
Yeah, from the 90s. Yeah.
And we're sitting there like, hey, yeah, going to hit you with the hot mops and fire your ass off the bridge. And hey, whoa, easy, and all that stuff. This kid started laughing like crazy. And we were like, was this kid a fan of the Jerky Boys, you know. So we started doing some of those routines, and it's like, so that's kind of how we roll with the stuff, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to answer Chris's question. She asked us, what location has been the most compelling for you in terms of unexplained occurrences? I would 100% say the old post office in La Follette.
Oh, I saw that episode you guys did there.
Oh,
because that's just down the road from where we are at the jail. Yeah,
that place was crazy. Like, it got to the point where at the end we're all sitting in the main room.
This is true.
And like there's still like people or something's hitting glass like 20 feet in the air, knocking on glass, and we're just like, all right, enough.
We've got enough.
We're over. We're done. It got to that point, but that was also a place I learned. I got chased out of there. Something kept saying my name, blatantly. Doors, 4 times on camera. A door slammed while I was walking upstairs where there was no door.
Now, can you share, because Joe's like a post office, can you share what it used to be?
It used to be a bar where patrons shot and killed each other over a fish sandwich.
And the other thing the creepy thing about it, I know a post office doesn't sound scary. The mail could be 2 days late. I mean, it doesn't sound scary, but it was a bar, but also it was a post office that is so old that they used to have secret entrances to where the inspector general, or whatever you call him, the inspector postman, you got to imagine what a boring human being that is.
Also an alderman of the HOA. That's kind of
right. This guy, this moron, guy with no friends that was a hall monitor when he was a kid. Anyway, the inspector of the post office, there were secret entrances, and he would climb up to these higher places, like the 3rd floor that you couldn't get to, and the whole back area was matte black with little tiny slits. And the reason was, back then there wasn't computers and cameras and stuff, so people would, there's a watch, or there's some gold, or there's some money, somebody smelling money. It was a way for them to have kind of this big brother element. So I think there was almost like an oppressive kind of voyeuristic type of environment too. Now, I will tell you, Luke is almost, you can't tell, Luke's almost 7 foot tall. He's won tough man contests, everyone he's ever entered. I've wrestled him before. I'm 5'11", and every time, 5'10". It is 5'10". But I say 5'11" when I'm on, Grindr and Bumble and Tinder and stuff. So anyway, I've wrestled him, and every time he touches me, he hurts me. He's a big, powerful man. That night, one of the greatest joys of my life, and if you have seen the episode, there's 50%, because I still am a Christian, there's 50% of my soul was concerned for my friend. The other 50% of my soul was laughing my ass off because my friend was in peril. But there was a thing where there was a slam to the door, and we were climbing through the hidden passageways, and there was no door there. And you hear him go, whoa, 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 or whatever he does. And I come up there, he's jackknife over. Man, I'm fried, man. And I'm sitting going, is everything okay? And it's fun to see him. But the rest of the night, and we're going through all these places, and all this crazy stuff's happening. This thing knows it's got him. And we were there. We had like an event, like we were raising monies for dogs that needed bus fare to Detroit or something, some sort of
County Humane Society.
Whatever. I'm sure they got a lot of money that night. But anyway, there was a group of people. How much?
$1,300.
You're full.
Right on.
Yeah. That's a lie. There's no way.
That's what Patrick Peebley told me that he put in his pocket, then said he was going to bring it over there.
Patrick Peebley, well, he had a brand new 10-speed the next day. It was purple. It's a Schwinn. That mother effer. Anyway, so Patrick Peebley. Anyway, Patrick Peebley, if you ever see him on our episodes, he's the guy that looks like a wet thumb.
Yeah.
So anyway, Even when he got to the 10-speed, he didn't lose any weight. God, I love Pat. Why am I putting down Patrick?
Yeah, why are you
Page,
putting
man?
down Perfect Pat?
Patrick Page, he's great. He's great.
He's also in our second movie, WJCAM.
Just don't let your small pets around him, you know?
Free streaming on Plex and Tubi.
Okay. But anyway, so this thing, there was a lot of girls there, and this thing was after girls. Like, there was like a misogynistic spirit there, like no girls allowed in the bar before it was a post office. And it was rough. It threw stuff. There was a poltergeist. It was throwing stuff at women. Things were banging. There was a soda bottle.
Locked a girl into the stairwell. Kept slamming a door on her and nobody else. It kept slamming the door on her and then locked her in a stairwell. And
then we saw a full body apparition walk by a window, like, what would you say, Luke? About 4 or 5 feet off the ground. Like it would have to be. Yeah. I mean, it made no sense. So, wild night. And then everybody left. Like everybody was like, "Hey, we got dowsing rods." And then after about 3 or 4 things slammed, it was just the team left. All the people.
We look around and we're like,
"Where's all the people?" You know, and they're gone. Everybody was like, "Yeah, screw this stuff." So I said, "This is how we do with Wrestling with Ghosts," which is the name of the TV show.
This is how good of a friend you are.
I said, "I'll tell you what." I turned to Zach Baggins for a second. I said, "You're going to mess with girls. Why don't you mess with somebody your own size? Mess with Luke." And so at that point, the spirits were all over Luke's butt. And you could hear, Luke. Dude, the 4th time he was fried, he said, "Dude, I got to get out of here." And they were watching because we were doing a Facebook Live or something, and they were outside the other part of the crew, and they were like, "We heard that through the crappy internet and everything, you know." And they were like, "Where's Vinny?" And I was like, there was like an all-night diner. I went and got a cheeseburger.
He's eating cheeseburgers in a car while I'm running for my life from a building.
I was there to protect you. But the
La Follette's, especially the center of town there, is it's almost like a vortex. And if anybody wants to do, and you should do this if you're a paranormal minded person, you should go on Alan Miller's Ghost Walk La Follette. 100% factual. I've gone on a few of these ghost tours that where everything's made up. You know, there's 2 or 3 in Gatlinburg where I was a police officer. Drink, everyone.
Oh, I'm almost out.
And they did the ghost walks there, and we're like, that didn't happen. That never happened. But Alan Miller's is 100% factual, and he will walk you around like a 4-block radius and tell you the most insane stories. So in October, I recommend everybody go to La Follette and do Alan Miller. Alan Miller, it's 2 L's. A-L-L-A-N.
Alan, I think he's won awards and stuff for his ghost walk.
Well, his ghost walk's great. He's a great artist. I don't know how he's not the mayor of La Follette.
I think he's a teacher at La Follette. Art teacher, I believe. But yeah, we've had a lot of comments here, and like I said, I love your all's approach with your positive energy, just to kind of step back to that. And I think that's why you get a lot of the really cool responses you get, because at our location there at the jail, especially up in the women's cell and the area where they used to segregate the pedophiles and stuff off into that area, we found that if you go in, teams, because it's one of the larger cells, if you go in there and you're, taking yourself seriously and asking questions, you may get some interesting stuff. But when people go in and they're cutting up, flirting with the spirits and doing different things of that nature, it brings out a whole different side. And the activity will turn on just like that. So we always tell people, especially up there on that side, to, just have conversations, joke around. They love it. And you guys are proof of that with the activity you get, especially when you're not using, your mainstream tools. You're using more your energy and your activity. Are either of you, I hate to use the word empathic or have special abilities or anything like that. But
okay. I have Asperger's syndrome, which is, or an adult Asperger's syndrome, which is an overload of empathy. It's like, people used to think that Vinny's a shark. People used to think that Asperger's and low level autism was a lack of empathy. What it is it's too much. You feel all the energy, so you turn it off, and that's why you become no eye contact, everything. But I do tend to, like, I don't go around and really on investigation. We have people with us, like we had a couple mediums come with us to Hales Bar Dam, and I didn't say anything about me feeling anything anywhere, but then they, we've worked with mediums before where I felt something and they didn't say anything, but then I felt nothing, and they're like, there's three demons over here. And so the girls was Teresa Lynch and Tara Duchesne. They I think that's her last name. The Canadian chick.
Keep saying it. What was the name?
Dufresne.
That's closer.
Search party of 4. But they pointed to exact rooms and everything where I did feel stuff too. So it's kind of like, how they say with we've said before, is like, we're not going to put anybody down for using scientific equipment but we don't use it. But it's the same thing with mediums and things like that, is we don't try not to use those things, but it is nice to have scientific equipment and mediums there just for support, not for, this thing did this, that's the evidence. That's not the evidence. Those things are just there to support the evidence.
Luke and I both agree that if you can't see it or you can't hear it, it doesn't matter. Now, things can be used as totems, I think, to get the activity going. Sometimes if you have an obelisk machine or something, and sometimes I think everything is energy is what I think. I think when everybody's together and we're all like, ooh, ghost, and then stuff like that starts to happen. And I wonder how much of human energy is kind of generating that. The thing that he forgot, which is the best thing about the story that we had with the two mediums, Tara Dufresne Dupree and Teresa Lynch, is when there was a spirit nearby, one of them would burp.
Teresa would burp, yeah. And
the other one would sneeze. And I was like, is the sister that farted, is she not here tonight? I mean, it was just like...
Because that's more... The farting sister would be more our style,
Well, I like all three of them.
Something's here.
I need a cacophony of noise, audio.
Is that a common thing that happens for them?
Yeah.
Every time. Yes. And so they're like over there like a...
How unfortunate.
It's like a Three Stooges routine. We got to get out of this room. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's the type of stuff we have on our show, and that's the type of human beings that we...
The best evidence we caught at Hales Bar Dam is when Vinny was peeing in a closet.
Oh, let me tell this story. So this gets us a lot of heat with a lot of paranormal. Now, we were in an old lady's home that she was trying to see if a demon was there, and I just had to go, man. I couldn't bother myself with the fight. No, we were at an abandoned dam. And but anyway, Luke got gifted the Mongolian goat ankle game of divination, which is basically these goat ankles. Somebody gave this to him, and it comes with a sheet, and
it's Turkish.
I thought it was Mongolian. Anyway,
it's Mongolian.
Yeah. You cast these goat ankles, and however they land, you look at it. It's basically like an old Magic 8 Ball. Like, does he like me? Bloop. Try again tomorrow. Oh, shit.
Goat ankles.
Yeah, but there were goat ankles. These two people, Sneezy and Burpee, were like, there are Wendigos here. And I'm like, oh, cool, little RVs? Where are they? And they're like, no, dumbass. Wendigos are like these Native American spirits. It's part stag, part human, part goat. And so we start doing this divination skit. Now, we do skits on the show that's also to be entertaining, but it's also to goose up the energy.
It's
and
charging.
every time, it's what we call charging, because we're nerds like that. And we take ourselves too seriously. And so when Luke was rolling the goat ankles, I'd always go, Yahtzee! And he basically said, get the hell out of here. I can't do anything. It's a little stupid skit. So I go off into the back and I'm urinating. Now, as a man, I don't know what surgeries you've had, but I guess you don't know this, Miranda, unless you've had something you want to tell us later. But
no, enlighten me.
As a man, everything's a competition, even urinating, even trying to say the word urination. Anyway, so there was like a little pole sticking out of the ground. And again, I just want to reiterate, this is an abandoned, dangerous facility, and we had permission to pee anywhere we wanted. Please don't send us emails.
Oh, and it was flooding out anyway.
We were in a monsoon, by the way. It was rain everywhere.
Chattanooga.
Yeah. So we hydroplaned going on 40 back to Knoxville. So anyway, there was so I'm trying to see if I can pee inside of this tube, right? And I'm like, okay, get the wind right. Woo, curving it in, bada boom. In the closet, a monster is growling. And so Luke's out there going, all right, do. Okay, ask again tomorrow. Okay, am I ever going to be 7 feet tall? No. Oh, well, does the boy that I like in 8th grade, does he like me? Not a chance in hell. Okay, so he's doing that stuff for the camera. And I come out with the saucer for eyes, and I'm like, did you hear that? Now, burpee and sneezy. Yes, we did. We heard that. And I said, Luke, you just started playing with them goat ankles. I think a Wendigo's mad at me because I was urinating in the corner of the closet. And he's like, well, if they're mad at your little thing, they're going to hate mine. And so he gets up and he walks back there. So we got all the cameras. He starts peeing. Neither one of us are very pee shy. It's a little thing you should know about. It's a little trivia. So he's peeing in the thing. The thing's sitting there going, and we get it. And we're like, we've pissed off a Wendigo by pissing on it. This is crazy. And so that's the kind of stuff that we do. Did I leave anything out of that story?
No, well, somebody said we should. Chris again says we should go to the Scott County Jail.
I was about to pull that up. Yeah,
we are, because I'm an idiot, and we're filming a movie that takes place in the woods with leaves on trees, and we didn't finish it in time. We lost the leaves on the trees. We're kind of on a break, so we're doing more Wrestling with Ghosts episodes. Wrestling with Ghosts available on ASY TV and Intrigue TV.
What was the second one?
Intrigue, isn't it?
Intrigue and Saltbox.
Saltbox. And then, like we're doing a private investigation next Sunday, at private residence. But yeah, we'd love to come up to that sure. jail and get. See, I wanted to put you in I was talking to I'm not gonna say his name, but my reality TV contact that's got a great resume, an IMDb page, and I brought your name up a few times because when he says I need a female for this and that, and but I started getting the feeling that they kind of wanted what I respect about you is you don't sexualize what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're the ghost biker, not the sexy biker ghost chaser. I love that you don't sexualize, even though we're all about using our assets or using our people around us assets, but it's I brought your name a few times, and then last time we were on the table for A&E, or I was without Vinny for a show on A&E.
Very hurtful, you bastard.
Sorry. Well,
how did that go without me, by the way?
Yeah. Well, I will tell you that why there will be no cutting edge or fun or good paranormal shows ever again because
I just want to say we're not poo-pooing on any existing shows now.
No.
We're talking about future shows. Now, some of the shows now are god-awful, but we're not going to call those out. But I think everybody liked Ghost Hunters when it first came out. Everybody was entertained by Ghost Adventures. And then some have been better and worse, but we're not poo-pooing on anybody.
We had a great concept, great idea. It was going to be ex-cops, but it had a different feel to it. I can't really talk about it because it's not my property. But at the last minute, right, they're sitting down ready to finalize the contracts. They come up with the what they call the preliminary terms, and they were offering 50% scale. That's $400 an episode. Now, if you see anything new coming out now with new investigators, realize that those people they're losing money being there.
Yeah.
And while it's not all about money, you got to at least make the money back. that
Mhm.
you
You can't
put into
lose money making a television show.
Well,
Good
like,
grief.
that's why Chris Williams from the Ghost Hunters, when they put her on Ghost Hunters International, they paid her such little amount of money that she lost her house. She
What?
came back. She came back from Europe and the international show. She came back in debt, and for her house was foreclosed on because she couldn't afford to pay her bills.
Well, TV is dying. Everybody
But
in
that's
the world.
Miranda. You're doing it right though. You're building
Thank you.
a good following, and independent, and that's what we do as well. As
Mhm.
everything's independent. We've been on other people's sets, other movie sets, and just I don't like it. Independent's the way to go. Shut up, Benny.
Easy with that.
No, you're exactly right, because you do lose control because I had we did sign after the second season. We did sign with a producer out of LA, and it was a 6-month courting process to get to
What
that
was
agreement.
his initials?
He was not. He didn't have any paranormal shows out there.
So it wasn't H.
No.
Okay.
It was D.
All right, because if my guy went
D?
behind my back, I'm gonna be mad.
No, it was his D was his first.
D's nuts.
Got
him. Got him.
We've signed so many of those stupid talent holding contracts that
Yeah.
they're never again.
It was
Until
like
the
I
next
said, it
one.
was a 6-month process, and I was very, very strict about the ownership of owning the trademark
There you
to
go,
it,
girl.
and also I had to be made a executive producer on it. Decisions had to be 100% agreed upon between myself and the producer.
Vinny's going to go ahead and talk about our Netflix show.
No, I was just sitting there thinking about. They probably wanted Miranda in a halter top.
Yeah.
And as soon as she said she was going to be the executive producer and owner likeness and stuff, they were like, well, that girl's done. On to the next.
No,
because there's no money for any of that right now.
And I was going to say, and that's why you don't have any new paranormal talent on these new shows. It's just recycled same paranormal entertainment celebrities. And again, not throwing off on anyone, but you don't have any new talent out there.
And our guy told us, he goes, the problem is right now there's 500,000 people that watch these shows. They could do the haunted. You remember the haunted from like 20 years ago?
Recreation shows.
Those recreation shows. They can show that, or they can invest in a brand new team. They're going to get $500,000 bucks or 500,000 viewers, no matter what they do. So there's no incentive to invest in new teams and marketing and stuff like that.
We came up with a great concept for a show for Netflix, and we got really far in the process on that. It was not really a paranormal show, but it was, everything on every reality show is scripted. Even a lot of paranormal shows now are like Skinwalker Ranch, 100% scripted. But we wanted to do something that was set up but not scripted. We had, the idea came in, and then all of a sudden the guy that created Storage Wars, and he came down to meet with us, and he's like, okay, well, let me ask you this. What if you guys got the ideas for things from listening to Swap Shop Radio?
Okay.
We're like,
let's not bury that show, because
show sucks.
There's people we don't see. Now, this is what happens. When I first come out, everybody's like, oh, the guy in the mink coat's the crazy one, right?
Yeah,
and you're sitting there going, nope. And then by the end of the show, you're standing up and you're going, I hate this person, and I'm voting for this person, and I don't believe in this religion. And I'm like, cut it out. You've gone too far. Come back.
Well, no, they took our idea and came down, heard our idea, came down and met with us, and then changed the entire premise of the show. And we're still executive producers on it.
Mm-hmm.
I know. And the check has not cleared yet.
The very first producer that came to me that wanted me to sign a contract that basically said they get Ghost Biker, but they did not have to use me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, no.
Wow. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But instead of all that negativity, we've done things on our own. Mm-hmm. And we've got 2 movies that are now all over the world. And we're making 6 movies about the legends and lore of the Smoky Mountain Chronicle, or Smoky Mountains, called the Smoky Mountain Chronicles. And we're very excited about that. And Luke and I don't need that. And you don't need that either. But the problem that I feel bad is there's people out there who are very talented.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to not only be talented, you've got to look a certain way. You've got to be able to control social media. You've got to have a presence on social media. You've got to be able to do all the business end. So the people that are actually making it are people who are. Sorry, what was that? I had a bratwurst earlier, and I had so anyway, but you got to be all things, and it's not really fair. You know, can you imagine the Beatles? If the Beatles, you know, or whoever, I mean, well, you guys are great, but you're going to have social media, and you're going to have to figure out how to market yourself, and you're going to have to be smart legally, and you got to learn how to make websites, and somebody's got to drive the van. I mean, that's what they're doing nowadays. You know, it's like asking everybody to be everything, and
it's what was
not
that
fair to people.
The old Mitch Hedberg bit where he says, you know, like he's a comedian, so they always ask him to write scripts. And he goes, you don't go up to a cook and say, yes, but can you farm?
Pretty good delivery. That's a pretty good Mitch Hedberg.
Well, I want to get to Chris's question again right quick, since we were talking about that positive energy and we kind of brought it back to the positive energy. She says, does your positivity theory lead you to believe that there is much less demonic occurrences than popular media wants us to believe there is?
I don't believe there's any demonic occurrences.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I think it's like,
why would a demon in hell be sitting there going, you know what, I'm going to go up and move this little girl's doll?
Okay, I'll tell you why. Because it's a population.
That doll did some bad things.
that doll is hot. No, here's why I think so. We have a population of human beings, and at the very bottom, there's kind of people below the Forrest Gump IQ level. There's probably a couple knuckleheaded demons that they don't let like drive the trucks or shoot the weapons off. So they're like, would you just go in that bedroom and horse around with the Ken doll? And he's like, okay. And he's up there going, and everybody's like, oh my God. But he's just like this guy that like, he's the one that they make go get the coffee in hell, which it's all Starbucks. little inside humor there.
Do you all tend to get more positive type activity or rather than
we've got, you know, our attachment, which we've got the attachment spirit that's with both me and Vinny. We picked her up in La Follette at Mary Death Antiques, and it's an 8-year-old little girl that will come around and you know do 8-year-old girl things around us, and she, you know, she just if you ever can watch our whole show, you'll notice a progression of her showing up in different places. She followed us all the way up to Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Well, she's a teenager now, and she doesn't talk to me. She stays in the room.
Yeah, well, you grounded her and told her I mean, but you know, it's like we tend to draw a lot of the positive, but we also, you know, we're
There's some creepy stuff.
We're aggravating guys too. You know, we could, you know, so. People who love us or they hate us. So there's sometimes the spirits hate our guts.
That's very true too. Some people aren't in the mood. You know, we tend to go these places at 3 a.m. They probably got to work in the morning. You know, they're ghost authors or something. So they're like, I'm trying to sleep here, and you guys are slapping each other in the chest with your shirts off. Cut it out. Yeah.
Well, because I know you guys have been to a wide variety of places, and some of them that maybe has more of a darker history, or ones that, you know, have a very active history, not necessarily darker.
You know what I find interesting is we've gone to some places like the Millionaire's Row out in Elkmont and we've gone out there, and there's no reason for those places to be haunted.
Right. Crazy as hell out there.
But it's crazy out there. Yeah. And we developed a theory, and I kind of wanted to talk to Vinny about this anyway, is we developed a theory that, well, people, you know, if you bury somebody in a graveyard, they've never been to that graveyard before. Their body might be there, but that's not where their spirit goes. Their spirit goes where they enjoyed life. And that's kind of that was real put into my head when my mom passed away in October. And we took her, you know, my brother had her ashes in his house in Chicago for a week. I get up there, I'm carrying around her ashes. Nobody feels nothing. As soon as we got to where we were spreading her ashes at her cabin, she was there.
Wow.
And and it's like she didn't show up. She was at the cabin. We showed up with her ashes. She was already there. So it's like, yeah, I think that a lot of these places, nobody was murdered here,
Right.
but this was somebody's favorite place on the planet. So that's where their
Mm-hmm.
spirit lies.
Yeah, and see, Luke is in love with this particular property. In fact, it's if you watch WJHCAM, it's a black and white movie, but that part's in the beginning and it's color. And it's kind of where it's a personal place for Luke, and it was a personal place for his mother. And so, yeah, and I'll tell you something too. After that happened, Luke's kind of been, I mean, it took Luke a couple months to, he's having his mom died, but I mean, he's having that was pretty wild for him. That event, not just the unfortunate thing that happened, but that event has kind of rattled his cage a little bit.
What's weird about your mom dying is that, like, everybody's like, oh yeah, my mom died too. I was like, yeah, but this was my mom. This wasn't like,
who says that? Who says my mom died too?
People say that all the time. Yeah, I know how it is. My mom died too. It's like, no, that was my mom. That was Diane Walker. That was,
God,
she was my mom, but she was Diane Walker. She was this person that I adored and modeled judged every woman against in the world. That's who died. It wasn't just, my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my grandmother died, and she was a hooker from Baltimore.
She was, and there was a lot of very sad doctors.
Yeah, there was a long line. A lot of nice cars in that funeral, boy. A lot of nice cars in that funeral. We're not joking. It's a sad thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, she used to dress up as a candy striper and go to the closets in John Hopkins University Hospital.
We don't need to tell that story.
Why not? You get to talk about your people. I want to talk about my people are white trash. I don't have nice people.
So you're originally from up north, right?
We both.
Yeah, I'm
both
from,
are.
Yeah, he's from Baltimore. I lived in Chicago. I moved down here to Gatlinburg in 2000.
Okay. What brought you all down here to East Tennessee?
Southern women, baby.
Oh,
Southern
so many
women.
redheads.
Come on.
So many redheads.
Yeah. Look me up.
No, I love these mountains. I actually live.
Yeah.
I could go outside and throw a baseball and hit the campground that I used to come to, to come camping at when I was growing up. So,
if you had the physical ability,
if I had the physical ability, I get out there and
it's like a left hand. His left hand is like most men's right arms. It's just like he's very tough, but when it comes to throwing balls, he's just like, and he makes that noise, which is don't do that.
But
so we don't have to play sports.
Gatlinburg has been great too. I play music here at Shamrock Pub right under the Space Needle almost every night of the week.
Oh, nice.
That's what I do. For a living is play music. Where else in the world can you play music for a living?
Nashville,
right.
New York.
Nashville, they pay you $15 to play.
Well, you got to live in the abandoned bus station. Now, I want to start talking about these abandoned bus stations.
Yeah.
They're great places. Lots of interesting people. You never know what you're going to find in the trash cans.
Well, I agree with Chris. You definitely got to come see us over at the historic Scott County Jail. We'd love to see what kind of activity you guys get out of there.
Line it up. Sundays and Mondays are our best days off.
Okay. Awesome. Those are
Mondays are
Sunday
late.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's actually great days for us as well. So yeah, we'll talk and get that set up. What's next for you guys? Like you said, you got your movies streaming. I'm really interested in what I saw on your Smoky Mountain Chronicles. Can you tell just a little bit about that?
These are these 6 movies. We're making 6 movies, and they're about the legends and lore of the Great Smoky Mountain area. And they're all the hike is, I'll just bust this out. The hike, you get a little inside Iggy, is about the Cherokee legend of Spearfinger, which we ran into, we think, on a ghost investigation for Wrestling with Ghosts. So that's an informed movie about our own personal experiences, combined with some insane stories about my brother's hiking experiences that he had in the Smoky Mountains. And then the second movie, which is WJHCAM, is about a Southern Gospel radio station here. And that's about the legend of like Dogma and the Southern kind of inhibitors and that kind of stuff. And the third one is a mystery, but it's also about a legend. And the fourth one is about the Oak Ridge supercomputer. Then we got one about, there's also the fifth movie is about Rabbit Man. And that's also one of our most insane. That was actually the investigation we had that really turned dark. Half the people with us wanted to start fighting, and that was the legend of the place, that this guy who loved rabbits was put in jail, but he murdered people. They came up there kind of as the teenagers went up to his cabin, and they were horsing around with his pet rabbits. They were booting them off the mountain, and he saw that, and he murdered these people. This is actually a real story. There's police
and nailed them to trees with railroad spikes.
Yeah, with a sledgehammer. So we're making a movie about the Rabbit Man, and so all these movies have some sort of legend tie to the area. So they're comedies, and some are funnier than others, and some are more serious. But
Kofi Jones just watched WJHC.
Oh, well, I wonder if he liked it. Yeah, he told me he was going to be watching it tonight. So that's cool. He's an actor in Knoxville as well. But yeah, we're excited about him. And I think we got toys, we got action figures that are being made, and the DVDs. I get all goofy excited about that. I can't wait for these 6 movies to be completed. I really can't, because this third movie, Camp Smoke.
The 7th movie has nothing to do with any of that, and that's the movie I can't wait to make.
Yeah,
and I can't even talk about that movie yet. But
we can't.
Oh, I guess we can. We want to make a full-on John Wick action movie featuring drag queens that can't fight.
Drag fu.
Slow motion kung fu sequences.
We're copywriting it. We're copywriting it right now. It's drag fu, and we've got a lot of friends in the drag queen community that are on board to help. So, and we want to play it. We want to play it. A little pun on word. We want to play it completely straight. all the comedy comes from the situation. We want to, like I said, we want John Woo. We want walk out, slow motion, all that stuff. Pigeons flying. Say no more. Yes. Pigeons. I want it.
Well, and Ken says, where can we watch the movies?
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Well, the Hike is available on Amazon Prime, but that's also the inferior version of the movie. It doesn't have you have to compress the thing way down to get it onto.
Well, the director's cut is on Tubi and Plex, and that's the new cut that we put out. So and it's free. If you watch it on Tubi, I don't think it has ads. Is that right?
No, Tubi has less ads because it's a little bit smaller platform. But like I said, Tubi is cool because it reminds me of a VHS video, family video store from back in the 80s, where it's got all these gems of B-movie terribleness that I just love.
Nice.
And WJHC came out today on Plex, and Plex is free. You just have to hit the button, the link, and you hit play. And keep in mind, these are Kevin Smith-esque Evil Dead comedy / horrors. These are movies like you've never seen before. You're not.
We made them, and we made them like we are.
We are insane, and what's crazy about us, you won't believe this, but Luke is very deep. And we have other people there's a lot of spiritual messages and stuff. Oh, hold on.
Yeah. God. Oh, get it.
Hold on a second. It's Lenny Kravitz again. Hold on a second. Hey, call me back, Lenny. She's gone, man. He's talking about Lisa Bonet again.
Yeah, you just won't leave you alone about Lisa. I mean, he's already back.
Call you back later.
Momoa's back onto his second marriage already.
Is he really? Yeah. Man, I didn't hang up the damn phone yet. Do you think he knows that?
Yeah, probably.
God almighty.
But he enjoyed it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
No, if you watch the Hike, it's this goofy movie with all these weird flashbacks, very campy, all that on purpose. But the deep meaning behind that is like Vinny and Candy are the Democrats, me and Travis and Scott are the Republicans. And if we would have just talked, we'd have walked out. If we would have just talked to each other, we'd have walked out of the way. Spoiler alert. Hey. Well, yeah, nobody's going to die in a horror movie.
What he's trying to say is that if we just communicated, things might have went a little bit better, and we let a third party
And WJHC, the deep meaning behind that is actually based off of the girl I talked about earlier, Rachel Ewing, which was a beautiful young lady that Vinny knew. I'll let you tell the story, Vinny. I don't.
Well, WJHC is actually it's a real story. When I came down south, I was trying to get a job in radio, and the only place that would hire me was a Southern Gospel radio station. I saw this craziness firsthand, and to me, I mean, to the uninitiated, to Southerners, it's just like, oh, that's what my grandfather used to do. To somebody else, you're like, this is like Gypsy Rose Lee shit.
Everybody froze up.
So anyway, it's the story behind WJHC is basically you have one life, and it's a cheesy thing, but you have one life, and if you have a gift in life, you need to, if you're given this life, you only have one life to live. Go out, live it to its fullest. If somebody greater than you, if God or somebody has given you gifts, then it's best to not squander those things. So. And it's a little targeted. When we made that, we were like, I think we're going to piss off the church people. And then when you watch it, you're like, is this thing too Christian? It's weird. If you watch Kevin Smith's Dogma, you're like, that's raunchy. But if you watch it now, you're like, boy, that's real preachy. That sounds almost like Sunday school with like cuss words and strippers. And that's kind of what this feels like too.
A lot of the people around us and a lot of our filmmakers our production team, Big and Funky Productions, grew up in very oppressive Southern religion, almost cults, and we that's one of the exposés we wanted to do with the movie is kind of shine a light that like people will be like, there ain't still snake handling churches. There's one 10 miles from me.
Well, even the ones that aren't so extreme can be very destructive, especially to women. They have a lot of weird, they really do a number on.
That's one thing I learned from watching our girl Amber Schultz does a podcast about deconstruction of religious upsets. And one thing I learned from one of her guests was if the preacher at a church has a nickname and never goes by his real name, it's because he's trying to avoid Google searches.
Man, dude, her thing is called Fundy Freed. And if anybody is struggling with what a church did to you or people in a church, or if you were molested or whatever, some bad things happen in good places. And I'm telling you, she's going to be world famous because I think she's going to help a lot of people deconstruct from that stuff.
She always has this one zit right here. She just has to get rid of that zit because it starts talking. I think that zit's a demon. It's like,
dude, she's very self-conscious about that talking zit, man. I mean, we're trying to get a GoFundMe to have that laser. I think we can get it a toupee. Don't bring that up at the potluck this week.
Okay, no. But no, so coming up next, we've got a few episodes of Wrestling with Ghosts that we've shot
in the can.
We're going to do a private thing this week, which we're going to film it just for basic, just
it's a residential.
It's a residential. So we're going to, film it just to show her. But if something happens and she wants us to put it as an episode, we'll do that. Cause we've done residentials that, you don't.
They're terrible. Besides, residential things are terrible to make in a TV.
But and then we're going to the Scott County Jail here in a couple weeks.
Oh my God, I got to pick out a new thong.
Oh no, dude, just wear the that shiny crocodile skin. I love that. That's the best one.
Well, I wore that last time, but I'll make sure to get it washed.
So, but yeah, and Sid, with coming up is hard to talk about because the best stuff in our lives have happened, today.
Well, and Camp Smokey's our third movie, and that's a movie. I was the lead in the first two movies. So if you think I'm an a-hole and you don't like me and I'm not cute enough for you, well, who asked you, honey? Luke's the lead in the third, and he's the best actor in the whole troupe.
The benefit of filming it when we filmed is I've got, I'm 6'8", so we had to have a younger version of me. And how are you going to find a younger version of a 6'8" long-haired giant? I happen to have a 6'6" 14-year-old son. who if basically if it's me or him on the camera at all times. So that works out pretty well. That's gonna be a cool
here it
movie.
comes. Look at this, Luke. What has she got here from the makers of That's Us?
There's Ted.
That's you.
There's Ted.
Is that
or Todd?
Is that you? Is that the What are you doing? Are you taking a dump? Here you go.
Stalking.
Oh, you're stalking. Okay. What do you do when you take a dump?
Oh, did you see that hammer flip? Yeah, I used to be a carpenter.
That took 19 tries.
Once.
Oh, listen.
Oh, did you see him walk behind that tree?
That got me.
Look at where'd he go?
Where'd he go?
He's not behind that tree anymore, is he?
Miranda, where did get your thing at? You gotta what is that? Every time. This fall.
It was supposed to be this fall, but I'm an idiot.
Well, no, you're not. You had life happen, brother. We're not.
Well,
getting rich
I
off
forgot
this stuff.
that leaves fall off of trees.
You had life happen. Smoky Mountain Crow. Do you like the little insignias for all those movies too? There's like a little demon head and a bunny rabbit and a robot. There we go again.
I do. That's actually what caught my eye with that, where you had the East Tennessee there and had all the different little icons there. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, you can sit there and try. Oh, where's that one going to be based out of? Yeah.
Now, what I want to do, but we can't because it's gone. But the Rocky Top murders that happened here in Gatlinburg, I wanted to do a little investigation there and tell a story. But the cool thing is if you stay at that Courtyard Hotel that's there where the Rocky Top murders happened, Dustin Valentine, the security guard that was killed, he'll show up wearing a security guard uniform. If I used to work there overnights, and if I sat there with my guitar and played Johnny Cash, you look over, there he is. The cook, I thought the cook, like 4 a.m, I thought the cook was walking down this hallway, and then I hear the cook go, "Did you see that?" I was like, "Oh, you're on the other side of the room." All right. So you can still see the security guard patrolling the halls of the hotel that was built where the Rocky Top was.
I was going to say, because it's a different hotel there. I didn't know if,
But I used to do weird things like I'd leave a cup of coffee out because
that's when you say this.
Yeah, I'd leave a cup of coffee out that was full, and then I'd come back an hour later, it'd be half empty. It's just
I always just think the Courtyard is they keep it so hot in there, it just evaporated out. They're so cheap, they don't want you to put the air conditioning on.
It's like the best hotel in town.
The physics just shot right up, just shoot to the lights. That coffee is in the air. It's evaporated out of here.
But yeah, I would, because that's a great legend, Tattoo Eddie and all that. And actually, if you look deeper into it, they believe Tattoo Eddie was a patsy because he was severely autistic. And they just told him he did the murders when he didn't. It was another guy that did them, and Tattoo Eddie took the fall. And it's a great story.
Well, you shouldn't call yourself Tattoo Eddie if you don't want to get in trouble with the law.
Never did. He never called himself Tattoo Eddie.
You should call yourself like Padre. Well, Funk Master. Nobody's gonna mess with me, man.
Funk Master 4. Tattoo Eddie was Funk Master 4.
What does that mean? I don't have any tattoos.
He was the funk before you were the funk.
Oh, he was funky.
Dang.
Was he a bass player?
I don't know.
Well, you're talking a bunch of jive.
Guys, definitely have to go and check out Big Funky Production or bigandfunkyproductions.com. We've got those links there in the show notes. And I think your site there has all the shows that are out so far, correct?
Yeah, and you can see what's coming up too.
And we're also thinking of putting some of the Wrestling with Ghosts episodes back onto YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Because it's so funny to watch how horrible we were as filmmakers the first season, but we're got some great evidence.
Yeah, the thing about the first season is and I'm going to edit them down and get rid of the really bad shaky cameras and shit, but we got great locations.
Mm-hmm.
Insane evidence, and we had a lot of some of the best moments of my life were some of those episodes. So just some great fun.
And that's where a lot of the Follett stuff was. That's where Mary Death, where we did the post office.
Yeah. And you all got some great stuff at Brushy Mountain too.
Man, Brushy Mountain, like Danny was talking about your evidence at Brushy Mountain. I don't know what that was, but we got to go there before it was a tourist
Right,
attraction.
yeah,
Yep.
before we were the first team
Same
to
here.
investigate it before.
Good.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
And it was dangerous and stuff. I got to make out with a girl in James Earl Ray's cell. Is my wife still up? Anyway, and then me and Travis did a thing where we played I Had a Dream, and we would hit stop, and you would hear what would sound like black men in church, hallelujah, praising, and then we'd play it. It's almost like musical chairs. Da, 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 da. I had a dream, and then we'd let it play for a few minutes, stop, and then you'd hear what would sound like redneck white men be like, ah! You couldn't hear what they're saying, but and that was a trip. And you're there in the middle of the darkness, and Luke and I and Travis, who's a wrestler, and another guy named Keith Gavins, who's a pro wrestler, we were in this auditorium, and we were chased around. We had Travis in a dress because we were wanting to see what kind of stuff that would get. We had a drag queen friend named Demetria, and we had Mitch, and it's high-pitched Mitch the furry. We've got him in his fursuit, and we were trying to see, if these guys would be like, what kind of crap is this? Because, Brushy Mountain's supposed to be the most dangerous. But they didn't really get a lot of attention. It was really when me and Luke and Travis got together, we were chased around this auditorium with this heinous sounding evil, like slithering whispers and hisses,
And kept
us around that.
Like things were running at us, running dead at us.
I forgot
that auditorium's no joke either. I mean,
we opened the door.
No.
We were doing a little skit, we say, "Hey, Travis, why you been in a dress this whole episode?" And he goes, "I don't know." What's hilarious though is like his mom was in a chat and it was like, "That's where my dress went," and that was totally not part of the show. She's like, "You stretched it out, you jerk ass." But anyway, so as soon as we opened the door, Luke's right. It felt like the 85 Chicago Bears were chasing us. We were all turned around like, whoa, like Kung Fu Hustle. And it was wild.
Yeah, you'll see us all go into defensive postures.
Yeah. I thought a bunch of people were running at us. It's the craziest thing. And that place, it could be dead as a door now. It could be like church on Sunday morning in there, just nothing. And then all of a sudden it's like, I feel insanity. And we caught a full body apparition on camera. It looked like Mr. Clean standing down.
Oh, nice.
He's standing there like this with his bald head, and we were all like,
yeah. And Travis actually reacted to that. When the first time we caught a full body apparition was actually at a cemetery, and his dude just stand there. You could see it in the camera. You couldn't see it with your eyes. That was the weirdest thing. You could see it in camera, not your eyes. And I look over like, "Travis, there's a ghost," and he's over there like on his cell phone Snapchatting.
Sending
hold on a
dirty
minute.
Pitches. Yeah,
hold on a minute.
Pitches. We're on a ghost hunt. We're invited. We're making a television show, honey.
Well, so like we investigated that cemetery. Usually cemeteries is not something we really like to do, but we investigated that because it had a history and it had a church
and a taco bar.
Oh,
I think it's something else.
No, and it had a church on it that we could get into and everything. So that's kind of why we did a cemetery. But to me, cemetery, like I said before, cemeteries that's where their bodies are. It's not where their spirits are. But I could also say sometimes there could be, everybody thinks different. A spirit could be like, I want to be where my body is.
Yeah, you say that, and you just tell everybody that's listening to this godforsaken thing that we just saw a full body ghost. Yeah, for 20 seconds, and we got it on camera. So make up your mind.
But yeah, like
it's the best evidence we ever got.
In season 1 of Wrestling with Ghosts, we did the Elkmont Millionaires Club out there, and I'm standing there, and it just plain as day, right in front of me is just a face hovering right in front of the camera. Couldn't see it with your eyes, but you definitely see it just hovering there, looking at you in front of the camera. And you're like, oh, what the heck? Wow. A window, Travis and this other dork walked into a room and a window just shattered.
See,
just a whole window pane just shattered.
You just blew through that whole story. That's a great story. They were in there trying to get them to make a light bulb shatter for like 10 minutes. It didn't do it. They go into the next room and a window explodes on camera. I mean, that's the thing I think is crazy. It's like, I ain't going to hit your little light bulb. I'm going to bust out the damn window.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I really wish I would have been better at, if it was now when we did that, because what I wanted to show is a double pane glass, and the inside pane broke. So there's no way like somebody broke it from the outside or anything, because there's two panes. The inside pane broke, not the outside.
That's a good point. You know, it's funny. We're both wrestlers, and this is something I think is interesting. Is I was talking to Danny from last week, and if we got to go, just tell me.
No, you're fine.
Okay, but like Danny from last week. Okay, Luke's from Chicago.
Hey, whoa,
I'm from Baltimore. Hey, don't grab my pants like that. I'm from Baltimore. Danny is a magician. I was a pool hustler when I was a kid. Before I could drive a car, I was defeating old men with pool for cash. So we're both pro wrestlers. We both are kind of, you know, he was a cop, blah, blah, blah. We understand the grift. We understand how to psychologically manipulate somebody to one way or the other, if we so desire. But what's funny is when we do this show and when we do these investigations that aren't on the show, that's the furthest thing from mine and Luke's mind is trickery, because we're blessed with just a multitude of just a preponderance of insane evidence. And you could see, that's the thing. He said, if I was a better filmmaker, I would have filmed that glass. I never would have thought in 1,000 years anybody would question because I don't know how to do. We make movies now, but I don't know how to break a piece of glass without showing somebody's hand up. I mean, that was a remarkable incident, but that would have been a good device to see if you think we did this.
Well, and that's what I do also like about it, especially Vinny. Vinny's the editor. The magic happens because of Vinny. Vinny edits everything, puts his soul into the show. But Vinny is really good at telling that whole story and looking at it from those, you know, from the different angles. But what he does best with the show, and this was all on him, is he doesn't always say this is paranormal activity or this isn't. He says this is up to you.
Yes.
This is what we caught. This is what we think. But make up your mind. Don't let us make up your mind what just happened. Because you know, I have seen a lot of fake stuff. You know, but we ended up the dork we referred to a few times. We kicked him out because he faked something. Yeah, we kicked him off the team because he faked something, and we always said if you fake one thing, everything you've ever caught was fake.
That's right. Everything comes into question, and even the people that you've worked with, their integrity comes into question.
I'll take it even further. If you fake one thing in the paranormal, if we were to fake something, it affects you.
That's right.
You know, it ruins the credibility of the entire field, which is a field struggling for credibility to begin with.
Small push back, Luke. Nobody else listen except for Luke. I want to ask Luke this question. If I have faked an orgasm with someone I liked, but not that much. No,
they know.
Well, am I off the team if I?
Yeah, you're off the team. So I'll call Travis and let him know that you're fired.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's Joe.
Yeah, they had to remove a friend from their team for faking, and
Joe Vitale.
No, Joe Vitale probably removed the same exact friend.
Yeah.
Wait, no. You're thinking of somebody. Who's Joe Vitale?
We don't know Joe Vitale.
No, Joe.
No, you're thinking of Joe, the other Joe.
Oh, Joe Paris. Yeah, no, Joe.
He's up. We saw him in Toledo, right?
Yeah,
okay,
I think so.
No, his arch enemy was in Toledo.
Yeah, it was his arch enemy was in Toledo.
No, Joe. God, and I'm so sorry. We were wrestlers. We got dropped on our head. Joe is the guy who had when we went to Post Town. He told us to say that particular number.
That's right.
That's right.
And we did a whole investigation. And we started saying that number repeatedly in the Post Town up there in Hamilton, Ohio. That stuff started walking down the hall, banging on the lockers as it was coming into the room. Do you remember that, Luke?
Yes. Well, about Joe is Joe has no filter.
Used to wrestle from what I
Joe has no filter. I like that about Joe.
Yeah.
Joe's kind of like us. He's a little abrasive, and you like him or you don't like him, and we both hate him.
His Harrisville haunting, I think I hear that's doing really well. So.
They've won a lot of awards and stuff for that. I'm his paranormal crush.
Now wait, you crush on him or does he crush on you?
Oh, he crushes on me.
Yeah.
Well, he told me he had a thing for me. He was like, if I,
wait a second,
I'm not into that. What? He's like, I'm not into that. But if we were in
I
a
thought
really
I was
tight
his only
room, or jail, or we were serving a bit,
destroyed. I thought I was his one and only.
Girls, get in line here.
He called me his Chewbacca.
We're all pretty. We're all pretty. Let's calm
But
down.
no, it's I mean, it just tears everything up, especially if it's a friend, if it's a teammate, if it's somebody that it just destroys everyone, and it's hard when it's a good person that does it. You know?
Well, see, this guy was a horrible human being, and we were just using him for his camera, so we didn't really mind. We like as soon as we met this guy, we knew he was full of it, but he had two positive qualities. He had pretty good cameras, which ended up he stole.
Yes.
But that also led us to find the guy he stole it from, and we did the Rabbit Man episode with him. And this dude could make some lasagna. We would go to his house just to eat lasagna. I think we kept him on the team about an extra 2 months.
We did. His lasagna was great, unless he lied
and his mom made it.
He ordered it from like DoorDash, and we were in the other room, and he kept, I made it, and he was a pedophile. So,
that turned out the Hales Bar Dam people figured that one out on him. So.
I know, and you won't believe this. This is crazy. Somebody just put in the thing that we're awesome. Let me tell you. Let me remove that from you real quick. Let me make you realize we're a piece of crap. On my phone right now is a photograph of his peni, because if he ever tries,
not mine,
of the yeah, not Luke's. I don't have a phone big enough for Luke's. Anyway, so I got a picture of this guy's wang on my phone, which I hope I never lose it, because people are like, well, never mind. I'm not going to get down that road on this. But anyway, because I was like, if you ever come back in the paranormal field, if you ever use my name, if you ever try to manipulate anybody, and he's the type of guy that would go and try to get like 10 grand or 100 grand. I said, I'm going to put your picture with the entire text thing that you sent this girl your thing, and you're like 8. She was like 16 or 15 years old, and you're done, pal. And I have not seen him. I look for him all the time. I haven't seen him in a long time. So,
wow.
Yeah, I do searches just to make sure that nobody else is scammed. But the weird thing is the relationships we've made with people, because after us, he went and tried to scam them, because he couldn't scam us. We were onto him from the beginning, but we needed his camera. But then he moved on to other people who we formed great relationships.
Kirby Simon.
Yeah, she's
the
in
actress,
both movies. Both of our movies.
The Horsefly Chronicle people up in
the Syracuses.
Yeah, they were up there jiving around. He knew Jay and Teresa out of Ohio that does Z Talk Radio and stuff like that. So I mean, you can go around, and there's other people. The Hales Bar Dam people after we went there, but he's renowned for being a schmuck. He'll burn something down, and he's a funny guy.
Wow.
As far as funny meaning a piece of shit. And I apologize for my language. It's after 10 o'clock, ladies.
There you go. But no, I mean, that's something. I mean, if you don't have your integrity, what do you have?
Well, and I think that like
Justin's weighing on a phone.
Like I've said, the paranormal is always going to be a field that is fighting for credibility.
Yeah.
And it's most credible if we do point out what's wrong. If we, I know there's a big push on para-unity, all that stuff.
Para-unity is
yeah. But to me, you can't be united because there's people that are willing to fake it. There's people that are just out for the attention of. See, we pull no punches with this. We love paranormal.
I deleted it.
No, you didn't. We love paranormal things. We love making. We also, outside of paranormal, love making TV shows and movies. We like, and our number one thing is we love entertaining people. We don't hide that, but we will not fake evidence for entertainment value. If you want if you want the entertainment value, go watch The Hike on Tubi and WJHC AM on Plex. That's our entertainment field. WJHC now, while Wrestling with Ghosts, while being very entertaining, that's just us being us. And then in paranormal situations, that's the other thing. People used to give us a lot of crap for. I said crap instead of shit. They used to say that we didn't take it serious. That we didn't take it serious, but
that's true.
Just because we're having a good time doesn't mean we're also not very serious.
Right.
That is a great point. That is a great point, Luke. Is that I think people don't take comedy serious. I know that's funny, but it's very tough to be funny. It's easier to be morose. It's easier to be creepy. It's harder to be funny and try to do something entertainment wise, but we're not doing it for the sake of putting on a funny show. Like we said, we're doing it to entertain the ghosts and or whatever they are, whatever these entities are. And some laugh. Well, my mantra is that we joke with the dudes, we flirt with the girls, and we tease the kids. One of the investigations we did, hey, have a snack. One of the investigations we did was we went to the Greenbrier, and there's a lady up there that killed herself. Her name was Lydia.
On record, this is a legit story. She did hang herself.
Yeah. And on our episode, we actually got third-party evidence, which I love, is when somebody comes and is like, this happened, and you got evidence that collaborated with the or corroborated
news reports and death certificates.
Right. And it's funny, we know just about everybody and Luke and I get called all the time, like, I need a notary or something, or I need a part-time private investigator. We know all these people. Well, we know a guy that does records for fun, like he does birth records, and he knows about centimorgans and doing, carbon dating your dead uncles or something. I don't know what he does, centimorgans. But anyway, we go up there. And we flirt with the girls. Now, this 2023, it's not very PC. But we're like, hey, lady, we sound like we're gangsters from the 40s, right? Hey, is there any women in here that want to get down with a couple of men? Let us show you that. And so sometimes as you hear crickets or whatever, and the crickets are really enjoying it. Like, they're like, okay, calm down over there. But anyway, but like, we're doing this thing with Lydia. Now, Lydia, God rest his soul, committed suicide because her husband, they were on the honeymoon at this hotel, and he went to Gatlinburg for supplies, which children means prophylactics,
rubbers.
And he got mauled by a bobcat. Now, without the internet and stuff back then in the 20s or whatnot, she just thought the guy was like, I don't like how her armpits smell, I'm going to leave. And she was distraught and killed herself. So we're up there, and I'm like, Lydia, honey, it's been a long time. Let's play the shoulder game. And I do this thing a kid taught me once. I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I put my arm around nothing, and I'm just like, how you doing, baby? And so we don't even hear this with our raw ears, as John Madden would say. You hear this pornographic female moan. And we're still buttoning around. Hey, Dawn, what you doing? Hey, what you thinking? Blah, blah, blah. Why don't you come home with us? We'll take care, and we're being nice and stuff. But, we're flirting with her just to see what happens. And she might like it. Who knows? I have a way with women. And so I said, I'm going to ask your permission first, but I'm going to put my hand right here on your lovely thigh. Is that okay? The biggest pornographic moan. I don't know if you ever saw a couple of these films they have late at night on Skinner. It's one of these, and dude, I'm sitting here editing this stuff at night, and I'm like, get out! This is insane. Are you kidding me? And then the next day, Luke's like, she's 16, right? And I'm like, no, she's not. She's like 102 now.
Well, she's 97 now.
Yeah. She's a grown woman. She's a grown woman. She needs love.
If you go up to that's another place we kind of learned about positive hauntings, but the Greenbrier restaurant is where actually I saw my first full body apparition long before I met Vinny. And it was Lydia. I was a cop. Drink up, Vinny. I I was it was Christmas Day, 9 o'clock in the morning on Christmas. Cops don't do shit, anything. So
They
we're
don't
up
do what?
there. They don't do anything. So I was sitting up in the parking lot of the Greenbrier restaurant in Gatlinburg, which is a very it's off the beaten path. Like you have to GPS to find this restaurant, which is well worth going to, by the way. And I'm sitting there in my police car, and I look up.
Lenny Kravitz. I'm sorry.
And I look up, and I know they're closed, and I see a woman sitting there, or standing there. And I was like, all right, that's weird. I know they're closed. But then I look closer, and she's actually standing in the table.
Oh.
And so I actually get on my police radio, and I'm like, 527, I'm going to be checking the Greenbrier restaurant because there is a female that's apparently stuck or trapped in the restaurant. And then this old dude, Pat, was one of the cops. His wife worked there, and he just comes over the police radio. Oh, it's Lydia. She's just a ghost. And I'm like, okay, all right then. But what I reached out into my pocket to grab my BlackBerry Storm. That's how long ago this was, and to take a picture. And when I came back up, yeah, she was gone. But that's also where we learned positive haunting. Like me and I don't remember what I can't remember the girl that was with us at the time. It was one of Justin's friends.
Who?
The girl that was with us.
No, I'm talking about who was the guy?
Shelton, was it? I don't remember.
Her name's Katie. We're bad with names.
But we're up there kind of talking to her in the room where he did the shoulder thing, and we noticed that we're both dancing. Like,
sounds so lame.
It sounds lame, but we know we're just like, why are we dancing? So it just, but I mean, it's if you can go to the Greenbrier restaurant now, it's a great place to go, and there's pretty good odds that if you can contact Lydia. I don't know if the new owners will let you go in there, but the old owners were great at letting people investigate in there.
That was going to be my next question. Do they acknowledge their spirits and allow you
the old owners did. The new owner is somebody I know, and he's kind of he's a money guy. Everything's money. So he'd be like, yeah, you can come in here if you pay me $1,500 or something, like that. But
sounds like who is that guy? Sounds like me. Do I own the Greenbrier? I got to check my accountant here.
But no, that's a great place to go. Now, Gatlinburg locations, people always say the Gatlinburg Inn, which is the oldest hotel in Gatlinburg, right in the middle of town. We've investigated there just because our buddy Alex worked overnights there, and
nothing
ever.
Can I tell a great Gatlinburg Inn story, Miranda?
Please,
yeah,
tell the story.
absolutely.
Can you please ask your listeners if I could tell a good Gatlinburg Inn story? So, it's not
paranormal, but oh god,
the Gatlinburg Inn is a historic hotel. You're from Tennessee, right, Miranda?
I am. Yes.
Okay, so the song "Rocky Top" was written in this hotel. And there's a lot of songwriters that go and they try to write songs, and they're all terrible. They're about, hey, there's a bear chasing me, and he put a finger up my nose. And so it's just like, no, man, it's not Rocky Top. I'm just kidding. A lot of my friends play music there. Don't get mad at me. You suck, but I love you. I'm kidding. You're great. Yeah.
You're all right.
Well, I got my fingers crossed. You're wonderful. So anyway, don't write anymore. Anyway, I'm kidding. You can write. The story. So we are, I don't know if we were filming a comedy skit or wrestling with ghosts.
We just got done wrestling, and we had won the tag team championships in a place called KFW in Sevierville. And we had our full wrestling gear on.
Yes.
And we were going.
I'm wearing the mink.
Yeah.
And then our buddy Travis is a masked wrestler. And he's a big man too. And then like Luke is all tricked out. He's got his long hair rocking. He's brushed it for once. Sport coat, Kangol, full beard. I'm dressed like a white pimp from the 70s. And I got this. And they're talking to Alex about video games or something. And somebody calls the front desk. Hey, there's somebody roughing up a woman or something in this next room. And the security guard who stood up at the time, he kind of looked like a Barney Fife. He's like, August. I was like, hey, sit down, buddy. Sit down. I said, guys, let's go up here. So we get the room number. And so I'm 5'11". Travis is 6'1", 5'10". Travis is 6'1", Luke is 6'8". And I'm standing in front, and I got the glasses on, the afro, my hair is afroed out, and I got mink coat, and they all look, and we knock on the door, dunk, dunk, dunk. This guy opens the door after a few minutes, and it's just, man, it's this whitest cracker you ever seen in your life. Not a stitch of clothing on this man's body. About 2.5 foot dong. Opens the door. Can I help you? And I was like, hey, we got a phone call downstairs. There's some sort of disturbance. Is everything okay in there? And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, I just don't want anything to get real sweaty, if you know what I'm talking about. And he's like, no. Everything's okay. And you hear this woman inside, tell them to go to hell. He's like, no, everything's fine. Yeah, it's good. And so we left. And I want to know if this guy was sober enough to be like, if you go to the Gatlinburg Inn and cause any ruckus, they have their own private brute squad of guys that look like insane human beings. What job is that? There's 3 dudes on, and they're all dressed insanely. And all they do is if you hit your wife, they'll come to the door and be like, we don't want things to get sweaty in there. You know what I'm talking? It's like, I just want him to articulate that. So it's like, man, you ought to see the security staff they got at the Gatlinburg Inn. They got a pimp, a giant, and a Mexican wrestler that speaks English. I mean, so anyway, that's the scariest things ever happened to Gatlinburg Inns, seeing that dude's unit.
So, yeah, but as I said, we never caught anything there, but
crabs.
But he said if you're wanting to stay somewhere, the Courtyard's expensive, but it's
what are you doing?
The only place I've ever seen an apparition in Gatlinburg.
I thought you were doing a commercial for Marriott. They don't have money.
Well, then this weird thing happened there one night where I was sleeping in my bed and at home, and I'm sleeping, and lightning struck a tree right outside my house, and it messed up my perception for about a week. So every time I'd be sitting there and I would see little like black birds flying around around the lobby. Just...
What are you talking about?
Shut up, Vinny.
I think we need to end this now.
I think
he's starting to get a little weird. It gets past his bedtime.
I go to bed.
Hey, we got 8 million ghost stories sitting there. Hey, one time I had this thing I got septic in my toe. I thought I saw Popeye humping olive oil on the ceiling Miranda, all the time.
You've traveled around a lot. Where's the best place to eat?
What?
In general, or
like we will
this shit.
We will. Me and Vinny will literally take ghost paranormal investigations or cons if the food's good. Like somebody's like, yeah, we got this place in Ohio, or right outside of Cincinnati. We're like, we got this place in Philly. Oh, we're there. All right, we got this place he's investigating in Chicago. Oh, we're in.
I tell you, one of the best, and I don't know if it was just because I was so exhausted and hungry, but have you guys done the Bel Air house in Bel Air, Ohio?
No.
Okay, so there's this little location known as Gula's there.
Ooh, it sounds good.
Yeah, they have the best pierogies and the best deep fried cheese bites.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of the you
had me at pierogi.
The Gula dogs they got.
Deep fried cheese bites, you mean poutine?
Yeah. Yep. So
what are you saying to this nice young lady? You said it before.
You were investigating in Cleveland, Tennessee, at that little mausoleum.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, she is so close to this 24 the City Cafe. Yes. That little diner. Oh, that's we will take investigations anywhere around Cleveland just to go to the City Cafe.
You can get, just sitting there looking at the cakes inside of that.
All right, I got a story about that place too. Can I tell this story, Luke?
Sure,
think it's funny? Okay. Do I have your permission?
Is it about the City Cafe or about Cleveland?
It's about the City Cafe. So me and Luke and our buddy Travis, who's on the show, El Gordo Gringo, which means the fat American, he had to go to up north.
Peoria.
He had to go to Peoria, and he had a girlfriend that was a bitch. Anyway, I didn't say that. Anyway, who he was shacking up with and doing all sorts of nasty stuff with. So anyway, we wrestled down in Chatsworth, Georgia, and they pay us a king's ransom to wrestle. And I don't know why. We're obnoxious. We don't do anything in the ring. We're loud. We make fun of the goofy guys there. We like most of the guys there, but we're obnoxious people and grab a lot of people's
in a 20-minute match. There's 3 minutes worth of wrestling.
Yeah, we yell at the crowd for most of it because we're old and we don't want our knees to hurt and backs to hurt anymore. So they pay us a lot of money, and we're happy with that. Now, Travis has to go take this woman to Illinois, pack a bunch of stuff, and come down. Now, we get paid pretty well, but it's not like we're getting paid $3,000 or anything like that. So we go to the Cleveland Diner. Okay, guys, it's 1 a.m. or whatnot. And Luke always gets Greek stuff.
The Greek platter. Oh, the souvlaki and the gyros.
Yes, and I get a little bit of that off his plate when he's not looking, and I'll get the Italian gimmick or whatever. And our buddy Travis always gets like chicken tenders and French fries or something, you know.
Even if he was a millionaire, he'd be like, "What guy?
What?
Oh, they got them good chicken tenders."
What would a slow 8-year-old order? I'll take that. So he orders that. We're having a time. Oh, this restaurant's wonderful. And so me and Luke, like you just said, Miranda, the cake case. So we're like, what dessert are we going to get? Are we going to get tiramisu? Or are we going to get cannolis? Are we going to get? What are we going to get? Luke's, and then Travis goes, I'm not going to get dessert tonight. What? No, I'm not going to get dessert. What? Why? I just don't want to spend the money. Red flag. He went all the way down to Georgia, thinking his PO payoff that he's going to get out of Georgia was going to pay for his entire trip up to Illinois, hotel, and all the way back down. And he thought, God bless Travis, he's wonderful. He thought if he skipped dessert, that was going to be enough for the gas, a little extra gas to get back to Tennessee. Well, the next day he calls me, and he's somewhere in Illinois or Southern Illinois. Vinny, I ran out of money. And I was like, I knew it. I said, you thought you would get rid of that. You weren't going to eat dessert last night. You thought that extra $8 was going to last. You're in a big, giant U-Haul. The thing drinks like 8 million gallons. I said, what do you need, honey? I said, I need $90. And I'm going to tell you right now, that mother effer, after I wired him that money, he didn't pay me back for 3 years.
And what he did is when you least expected it, too.
Yes. Oh, I felt like I won the Megabucks lottery. For $90 from Travis, I kissed him on the mouth. But anyway, I just thought that was always funny how in his head, he was having the war. Like, God, this is irresponsible. I shouldn't have eaten out. I'm gonna skip dessert. I can't say no to the meal, but skipping dessert would make me an adult. It did not.
Now,
so do not skip dessert.
What's the story with that mausoleum?
Blood coming out of the right.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's a whole big family tragedy. The father built the church there, St. Luke's Church. He also built the mausoleum after his 7-year-old daughter had passed away. She got killed in a horse and buggy accident. And then it was just a couple years later, his baby that was only a few hours old, he passed away. And Craig Miles, the one who built the mausoleum, he was a prominent figure here in Cleveland. He ended up falling one day, hitting his head, ended up getting blood poisoning. And then his wife, she ended up outliving all of them, but probably about 20 years. And she steps out of the house one day, and she's going out with a friend. And when she steps out of the house, she gets hit by a car. And so there's 6 people in this, or 6 places in this mausoleum. 5 people are in it. And with every body that was put in, more of the rock would turn red. And so when it rains, it looks like it's bleeding. And they cleaned it. They replaced some of the pieces in it. every time there would just be more blood that would form, especially with every person that was put inside of the mausoleum. And it was pretty wild because I was getting some crazy EVPs. I mean, yeah, I had some dowsing rod activity. I kept it a pretty simple investigation, but the EVPs that I was getting, also, I ended up getting this like humming sound that was coming from the back of the mausoleum over near where the playground was.
Right.
And it turned out to be a pretty active little place. I didn't realize it, but also inside of that area, there's a little garden that's got little plaques on the wall there. I didn't realize that was also where they'll bury people who are cremated. So there are more people in this little churchyard other than just the Cragmiles family. But at first glance, as you're going through, you've got the church, and then you've got just this gorgeous mausoleum, and then this little playground that's right there back in behind the church. It's a pretty interesting story.
And they have a free library. Did you see that? Like a little tiny, what do they call them things? It's like a little
what are give and takes?
Yeah, it's one of the things. Yeah. And I have a Danielle Steele book I need to return, and I'm very, very sad about that. But I got it when I went down there. I went down there and looked at it, and they didn't take kindly. I was trying to spray paint our website on the mausoleum, and I got arrested for a few hours. But after I got out, I did get the.
Brandon, you were in the basement of this house one time. You were letting off smoke bombs.
I was, yeah. You were on that live.
That was so cool because I was seeing stuff, different shadows, different things moving. But I mean, was that difficult to breathe in?
It was very difficult to breathe. And actually, I had several rings on my fingers and several pieces of jewelry, and every piece of jewelry that I had was completely tarnished after that. We were trying to do something different, and that was actually, I think, our season finale live. And we had there's no power in there, and I like to do different tools and techniques to kind of see, if I can bring out portals, that sort of thing. And so one of the theories behind the portal is that you can use not a smoke bomb, but a fog machine. But since there was no electricity in that house, we tried doing smoke bombs, and the family, they were like, "That's absolutely fine. This is an old house, and no one lives in there." So we lit those smoke bombs off, and it was wild. We had cameras up there, and there was times it looked like there was something walking, and we did that one live, and people were seeing things walking in the smoke bombs, which is
and it was
crazy.
Weird. There was shadows where there shouldn't be shadows.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really cool. When I was watching, I was like, God, I'm intrigued by this. This is because usually I watch live, and you know how.
Oh, they're the worst.
Yeah. And so we were one of the first ones to do the Facebook Live investigations with.
No, we weren't.
Investigations.
Oh, I don't know.
But it's like we had 10 hours worth of live footage that gave us 20 minutes worth of show. Because people that don't investigate don't realize how much nothing happens.
And that's the thing, because we were going back and forth on how to do this, and because we had so much activity in this house, I thought, let's do it as a live, because in that instance it doesn't matter if it's happening, because you're in the moment and just trying different things and having people there that can help you kind of watch and listen for what's going on. You can try some really cool stuff, and lives tend to do okay, even if you don't get anything. But that house was off the chain, and it didn't matter if you were live. It didn't matter if you showed up at just this weird hour in the middle of the day. There was always some type of activity in that house.
Now who does because your production value is excellent. Is that your husband that does that?
It's self-produced. The first season, or the first 2 seasons, was one of my best friends, Josh. And so he was filming. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he put those together, and then the last 3 seasons I've self-produced myself.
Yeah, because I said that was one of the first things that drew me in was the quality of you like whoever was there, whether it's you, Josh, whatever, they understood lighting.
Yes,
way better than than anybody. And
Yeah.
that actually inspired, I think we were both on our first seasons at about the same time. And that inspired me to start really looking into different lighting techniques. Like Vinny's even got, he's got the blue light behind him. That blue light makes your
that's the police, and they're kind enough to let me finish this podcast before I got to go answer some questions. But I'll tell you something about production. I don't know what's worse, independent wrestling flyers or paranormal con flyers. Somebody in the paranormal universe needs to step up and go, somebody needs to spend 2 weekends with Photoshop. This is hot garbage. Nobody would come to this if you couldn't pay people to come to some of these things.
That was a thing I used to do on Facebook. Was this a 80s cover metal band or a paranormal investigating team?
They're all wearing black t-shirts like this.
Yeah, tight black t-shirts.
The only thing is like, is this an 80s band that's cut their hair? That's the only thing. They're all like bald now. And they're like, we investigate empty houses. It's like, all right, man.
But I appreciate your compliments on that. I'll let Josh know, because that's one of the things,
he doesn't do that. He's all right. That guy.
I love the IR and that sort of thing, but honestly, I prefer to just adjust my lighting where it's dim ambient lighting and investigate with the lights, because you can see the shadow figures. And I mean, that's why I never invested in anything like that. But Josh does an amazing job of setting the mood, setting the tone with his lighting techniques, and he really helped set the stage for what Ghost Biker has become today.
Well, that's Luke, with Big and Funky Productions is the same way. It's Vinny. We always say it's me and Vinny. I write a lot of the stuff, I act in a lot of stuff, but almost everything, because of his editing and everything. Yeah, all of Big and Funky Productions with the production values and everything. It's all Vinny.
Yeah. I'll stop that. I've got a lot of help too. Now, Luke told me in the intro of the Ghost Biker that you had a butt double. Is that right?
I never said
What?
No, not at all.
I
do my own stunts.
We were needing one for a movie. I was going to get the phone number from that girl.
He wanted to use your butt double for him in WJHCAM, because Vinny is naked and it looks like two 2x4s.
Don't do it. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm a young man. There's still hope.
But that was the fun thing about making WJHCAM is we use stunt boobs.
Oh, really?
Stunt boobs.
That's a funny story too. Yeah. So me and Luke are in Hot Springs, Arkansas, filming a part for a movie, and they were having a festival that we weren't at, and we had some representation there, but they were showing WJHC, which is the brand new movie, if you're just tuning in, that you can see on Plex, which is rated 9.7, horror comedy. Oh my God. So anyway, they were showing it, and
they were showing it back in Knoxville
in Knoxville, and we were far away, and we were getting texts. We're watching a magician do his show, which was a lot of fun to watch that. And then you're getting texts about people responding, and people, somebody's like, they laughed at this part, they laughed at that part, and we're like, hee, we're making people laugh. So anyway, there's a part of the movie.
Well, Sheena,
my girlfriend,
Sheena, his girlfriend, is also a professional wrestler, and she dated another professional wrestler named Brad Cash, who's also a very good friend of ours.
Yes. Okay. So the female lead is a pro wrestler. She's not my girlfriend. I'm married. She's a friend, but she acting. And so there's a part in the movie where she has some sort of change that happens. Let's just put it that way. And me and her having a physical altercation. I'm not being domestic. She's turned into a monster. We'll just let you guys get on that. So I'm trying to save my life. And because it's a horror comedy, one of the things you got to have done is, of course, the female monster has to rip her shirt off just to elicit that reaction from 12-year-old children. So,
and me.
So we're watching. We're in Hot Springs, Arkansas. They're in Knoxville watching this, and we're in a fight, and for no reason, she just rips her shirt. Ta-da! The girls. And the whole crowd's like, whoa! And her ex-boyfriend is in the theater, and he goes, those aren't hers, which is hysterical. Now, here's the other funny thing about that. So we only could afford one set of stunt boobs for that movie. There's another scene where a demon is chasing this girl, rips her shirt off because, hey, it is the apocalypse. This is going to happen, girls. If the end of the world happens, get you some damn good bras, because these are some bra-ripping mother effers in the apocalypse. Please, for your own humility and your own shame. So rips the shirt off. She has no bra on. Oh, God. And this demon is punching this girl in the boobs and the chest and stuff. Funniest thing, this guy we hired to be the demon, he was wonderful in this. He was awesome as the demon in this. But there were two demons. He didn't know that. So he's sitting there, and he's told his wife, he goes to this premiere, and he's like, yeah, I'm in the movie, and I'm playing a demon, and he's a minister. And he's sitting there, and they're watching this. Now, he's never seen the movie before, and he's sitting there. It's the other guy, and they're both very similar physically. The other guy, it's the other demon punching the naked boobs on the screen. All of a sudden, his wife goes, what? And starts like hitting the guy like this. And he's like, it's not me. It's not me. It was Keith. It was Keith. And like Keith, like, that's not me. What? And he was like, bam, bam, bam. And oh my God, we had tears rolling down our eyes. We're sitting there watching this guy going, I'm going to get a coin out of somebody's ear. Woo! And they're going. So anyway, that's that stuff.
Fantastic. Where else can you watch a podcast where we'll talk about, paranormal and boob doubles,
Yeah.
Oh my
Stunt
God.
boobs.
Stunt boobs.
Stunt boobs, butt doubles, boogers, bestiality, all the good B words.
Well, on that note, we are at the top of the hour here at 11, so I think we're about time to wrap it up, but I really appreciate you guys coming on and spending time with us tonight. Again, go ahead, let people know one more time where they can watch your movies, upcoming stuff, and also check out Wrestling with Ghosts, because these guys are fantastic, and they get some really cool evidence. So go ahead and plug away.
We will be putting some of the old episodes of Wrestling with Ghosts up on our YouTube channel, which is the letter N Funky, Big N Funky Productions. You can follow us on Facebook. I'm Big Luke Walker. It's Vinny Vineyard. You can watch The Hike on Amazon. I recommend not. One, they don't pay anything. But you can also catch it. Yeah, you can also catch The Hike in its full entirety, high res, everything on Tubi. WJHCAM just released today on Plex, and I think The Hike is also on Plex. So if you watch those and you dig them, please, Plex, give it a 4-star review or 5-star review. On Tubi, give it a thumbs up. But the letter N Funky Productions.com is kind of the hub of where Vinny posts all the links to all the podcasts we do, all of the whole world of Big and Funky, because we do a bunch of stupid stuff.
Yeah, we've got comedy skits called Taint Your Ride, and Big Luke presents My Pillow, and Donkey Kong gets killed in a Mario Kart crash. There's me doing the My Pillow thing. Look at that! I didn't even see that.
That got out of hand.
Literally. Don't watch The Hike on Amazon, because the director's cut with the improved intro is on Plex and Tubi, and rumored to be Amazon or Apple TV. There's just too many of these damn things. I'm almost 50 years old. I can't remember. I sound like an old man. Do you have the Tubi? Do we have Tubi? Is there a Tubi on here?
How do you spell that?
Tube.
But Wrestling with Ghosts episodes, there's a subscription service called ASY TV, ASY TV. If you're a fan of pro wrestling and would like to get behind the scenes of pro wrestlers' lives and stuff, and a bunch of foodie stuff, ASY TV is actually a really good independent network.
A lot of travel shows. A lot of travel.
Yeah, travel shows and things like that. It's great. We're also on Salt. Wrestling Goes on Saltbox, but I think those are cut down episodes. So that's why I kind of want to put them up on YouTube just to get so people can remember how horrible we were, but with great evidence.
But anyway, there was a we have some highlights too. So if you go to our YouTube page, you can see some of our highlights and stuff. But yeah, our full episodes will be back up too, like Luke said.
Yeah, and we've got all the links to all those in the show notes there. So guys, definitely go check them out.
And please go Fundy Freed, Fundie Freed. Give her a follow. It's Amber Schultz. She's doing the Lord's work in deconstructing religious upbringings.
Oppression.
So follow her on YouTube if you get a chance.
You said that's Fundy Free?
Yeah. Freed,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's IE, Fundie.
Oh, okay. Fundie. Okay. This will show up. This will show up in the comments, a link and stuff. So yeah, we'll go ahead and share that there. So yeah, lots of great content there on the Big and Funky Productions YouTube channel. Links are there in the show notes. We've got everything from the website, Instagram, Facebook page.
Can I talk about make two more plugs really quick?
Absolutely.
If you're in Gatlinburg, come to the Shamrock Pub, and I will probably be playing there, but they got live music all the time, and everybody that I play with is really good guys. Come hang out with me. But next Thursday, a week from today, we're having at the Listening Room in Pigeon Forge, we're having a big Emmy Sunshine, Fish Fisher, Martin Hush, bunch of the Bald Twin Brothers. We're all going to be playing a group show at that place, and that's just going to be a riot. You put us all on a stage together, and it's going to be 6 hours of stupid, 6 to midnight.
What's the day?
Next Thursday.
Okay. If you'll after the show's done, if you'll post that in the comments with the link to it, that will pop up there at the very top. So
and I've got the Friday after that Thursday, I will be in my living room playing Skyrim.
No, you're getting tires. You're going to be at Walmart getting tires.
I don't even know what that means, but it's great. That's great. That's in the comedy world, you can't top that. We're done. I'm getting tires at Walmart on Friday. Come hang out with me. I got a Game Boy. We'll see if we can play Mario Kart together while we wait.
Nice. Well, thank you again, guys. We really appreciate you spending the time with us, sharing your stories. It's been an absolute blast. And thank you to everyone. Yes, sir.
Somebody just chimed in. So I want to pretend that me and Luke are the most boring people. So I just want to thank everyone and Miranda for giving us the opportunity to do paranormal communication about our experiences that we've had.
We enjoyed paranormal communication.
We do.
Can you say that? Communication.
We can. Hold on. Sure. I can spell it. P. Right?
Oh, the letter P. That's a special letter. That is.
Thank you for that. So
that the letter P is also in the word pregnant.
Oh my gosh!
Mm-hmm. I bet you didn't know that. Well, now you do.
Well, I do now. I knew it before, but I appreciate the reminder. It's been a long time since school. Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Oh, you're welcome, sir.
All right, I just want people to be like, I want those guys to be like, those are the lamest mother effers I ever saw. Somebody had to cancel to get them tricks on there. Wild ass jive turkey over there.
I bought you a Snickers bar.
I'm a diabetic, you a-hole.
That's what got us banned from Fox 43.
It got us a fine. I didn't even say asshole.
Yeah. Because I was dressed like Mr. Rogers and offered him a Snickers bar.
Yeah. Wrestlers hated that.
I don't know why. It's so stupid.
I enjoyed it. It's funny. I got a free Snickers bar out of it. Just take a little insulin.
Well, I appreciate you all over in the chat room. Thanks for your questions, your comments. Go check out some of the different events that's been mentioned tonight over on the Ghost Biker Explorations page, also on Big and Funky Productions. Check out their pages, give them a like and subscribe. go listen to them do their live thing. And we've got a full schedule coming up for next month. Just want to make sure I get the right name on here. February is booked full, and next week we're going to have our friends from over in the UK on there. Portal to the Paranormal. Those guys, they're going to be on. We're really super excited about that. And then the week after that, Dennis Estlock from the Cabin on 360. So we'll have more information about those folks coming up next week as we get the promotions out there. But definitely tune in and check that out, and come see us at the historic Scott County Jail.
Which we got to line that up so we can go and do a nice investigation there, have a good time, and party on.
Yes, we would love it. All right, guys, we will see you next Thursday night.
I just wanted people to think that